everyone. We have today with us Ms. Yuki Lau, Deputy Senior Manager at NTT Advanced Technology Corp, and Ms. Kanika Bhutani, Deputy Senior Manager, Global Pre-Sales, NTT Advanced Technology Corp. Hi Yuki and Kanika, welcome to the Fast Mode Studios. Here at the Fast Mode, we are excited to have you today.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Hi, all pleasure. Good morning.
Excellent. Okay, so are you guys excited about the upcoming Asia Tech at Singapore? What are your plans for the event?
So for me, of course, we are all really excited because you know that it's one of the largest ICT stage in Asia. So we are hoping that this event will actually have giving us more opportunity to liaise with more buyers and perhaps potential partners in this region. So yeah, we're really excited, right, Kanika?
Okay.
Yeah, so I think, as Yuki said, it's a very, very good opportunity for us to bring out our products and, the niche technology that NTT80 is involved in to the knowledge of many. And since it's very much advanced tech, it's a right place to connect to all other enthusiasts who are, now looking on the future technologies and want to then go on for collaboration with some good brand names. Yeah.
Okay, great to hear that. So let's move on to some of the questions that we have today. We would like you to share some insights on this. So the first one, a big topic that we have today, because there's so much advancements in this area, which is the data center networks. We heard about NTT's Advanced Technologies ROAM product, the robotic optical management engine, being the layer 1 switch, optical switch offered by you guys. So how does ROAM work, and why are its capabilities important for today's data centers?
So basically, ROAM, so-called the robotic optical management, engineering, is basically realizing the optical connections automated by the robots. So it is really widely used in the data centers and the laboratories because it enables the smart operations for the fiber management. So we have a few series, 2 series mainly. So the Robot Mini has a 96 of optical parts on one side and 96 on the other sides, and all the ports have the connectors. So it means that the robot mechanism inside the device, they're able to connect to any combinations of 96 by 96. Whereas the upper model of ROAM 500, we call, has 2 ports of 128 times 128 ports. So anyway, the fantastic thing about this product is all the connections can be actually controlled remotely by only commands. And so why we're thinking, so why ROAM? So ROAM, first of all, the benefit of ROAM is that it's automated. It will open the line remotely and based on a schedule that you actually set. So that especially crucial during right now, COVID, we can't have the operators there to function on all the thing. And secondly, it's reliable. So because it's programmably operated, there will be 0 defect on the human errors. And third most important thing is that the security, so that it will track the record of actually who log in and who log out. So based on all this advantage and everything, so it's actually really, really good product.
Wow, interesting. So that's a big area that we see a lot of enterprise networks, especially, are concentrating on making sure that the data networks are secure and that the reliability is there. So moving on now to the optical networks, another area that you have a very strong presence in. So how has the optical systems in the operator transport network evolved in the last 5 years? What are the key hardware and architectural changes in optical networks that have taken place to support the new level of speeds that we are looking at, 800G and 400G?
Yeah, so talking about the history and how it has now evolved so far, I'll bring out the case of NTT, right? So NTT had introduced an all IP network back in year 2008 and in Japan. And then they had established the basic network infrastructure. And from that point on, we have been working on IPv6 compatibility and upgrading the access network for that. So far we have completed all the support that a 5G network would require. And as you also pointed out that with these ever increasing speeds and bandwidth, the needs and the demand for a very robust infrastructure is very high. So that's precisely what NTT Group is also aiming for. And just to share with you that in the recent years, we have been proposing a new concept that's ION. So it's innovative optical and wireless network. This is to support the demands and the needs of the new smart societies. So as you see that nowadays everything, all the gadgets we see that in the near future will be talking to us, will be interacting to us. So this is what the future has in store. And now is the time that we set up all the foundation for that. So talking of ION, it's a all photonics network that's deploying the optical based technology right from the network to the terminal. So we aim to achieve it, to realize it by 2030. And we are collaborating now with the NTT laboratories and partners. And the NTT Advanced Technology is, very much involved in all the R&D activities to make this vision, to achieve this vision of ION, that's the innovative optical and wireless network.
Wow, interesting. 2030, we have another 9 years, and that's the whole concept, the innovation, the optical and wireless network. ION, I think that's an idea that will be big, moving forward as we see the development in the Internet of Things and then the connectivity that is required across so many devices, so many gadgets. I think you guys are, doing great work there in terms of your R&D and stuff. Of course, closer to us now is the other topic, which is the 5G. 5G rollouts are already taking place. So we see all the traffic that is aggregated from operator networks will soon be offloaded onto the transport network. Are today's transport networks ready to take on this traffic and also to support the traffic across these 5G access networks? Can we expect to see optical connectivity going further out to the base stations?
Well, that's also one of the targets of ION that I just introduced. So as you see, depending on different countries and regions, the mobile network today is not really fully capable of taking advantage and leveraging the true capabilities of 5G. So, and 5G is not just faster 4G. So we need a network that utilizes and leverages all the opportunities that 5G provides of establishing the multiple simultaneous connections or low latency for that matter. So the new mobile networks will I believe will change our lives and businesses by intelligently connecting each other and making them more interactive. So many products that we'll be exhibiting in this exhibition will be supporting all the 5G networks. And having said that, NTT always focuses on what's coming next. So of course we have our energies on 5G, but at the same time we are looking on this ever evolving advancing technology, and we are also keeping our focus and developing technologies that go beyond 5G and not only limit ourselves to 5G. Yes.
Excellent, interesting. So So the on optical networks, further on another key area, we see that with the 5G rollouts and the optical transport network now maturing and then carrying more speeds and much lower latencies than it used to. So we see that to enable that, there's a big topic that is always that needs addressing, which is the network resiliency. So we see that in some regions they are very susceptible to extreme weather conditions, and then and in some places there are issues like power outages and disruptions. So in such scenarios, how can operators, or what can operators do to ensure network resiliency and sustainability?
Yeah, so you're right about it. So network resilience has been very crucial. I think Entity Group actually learned the importance of this network resilience after the Great Eastern Earthquake happened back in 2011. So, and then this COVID also have shown that resilience is actually an essential component for the organization's business continuity plan. So currently, majority of companies are facing a test of whether they could actually adopt the remote workforce and also maintain the current business operation. So I guess redundancy is actually the most vital component for the network resilience, but it actually comprises multiple aspects. For example, you need to have a redundant network configurations. You need to maintain your operation design, and you need to have a very reliable equipment. And most importantly, you need to have a deployment of the independent power sources, meaning perhaps you will have to start currently to create a robust microgrid or energy storage solutions, which is actually critical to develop the resiliency. So I think overall the keywords is that automations will help to build the network resiliency. So when company like Cisco even, they needed to prepare for the shift of the work from home, and guess what? Automation was actually the key for the whole thing. Thank you.
Excellent. Oh, because these are some of the areas that network operators will definitely worry about. But having the right solutions and the right approaches to ensuring this, against like what you have rightly pointed out, the pandemic, nobody expected it to unfold to this level. But yes, the networks are still operating, and I think these are the kind of solutions that are backing up today's operators, whether it's fixed operators or mobile operators and so on. Thank you, Yuki and Kanika, for sharing your insights on these very interesting topics. For everyone tuning in, you can learn more about NTT Advanced Technology Corp at www.ntt-at.com. And don't forget to visit NTT AT's showcases at the Asia Tech Times Singapore event happening this week. Thank you, and see you again in our next video.
Bye. I'll see you guys on the virtual booth tomorrow.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you. See you tomorrow.